Hello, my name is Nico Heinrich, and this is my story of overcoming illness and becoming an athlete. About 4 years ago, I grew a lump about the size of a golf ball in my left butt cheek. It was incredibly painful. I went to my doctor, and they scheduled me for surgery 8 months from that day. I never made it to that surgery. About 6 months later, in agonizing pain, I went to the emergency room and had emergency surgery to treat that abscess. Unfortunately, that wasn't the end. That was just the beginning. A few weeks later, it's the same abscess developed on the right side, and it also had to be treated with surgery. Both of these surgeries involved putting rubber loops through the skin so that the wounds would remain permanently open, so that the pus and blood could drain. And around the same time, I bought my first road bike because I wanted to become a triathlete. Over the next few years, I had surgery repeatedly. I had doctor's appointments weekly sometimes, MRI scans, CT scans, specialist doctors to go to. And I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disorder called Crohn's disease. That means that my own immune system was attacking my rectum and dissolving it to the point that it had a hole in it. And the material was escaping into the rest of my body. And that this was causing infection, which created the abscesses. Unfortunately, this hole was far too close to the muscles so that it could not be operated on. It could only be treated with drugs. And I took a lot of different drugs over the course of years. And none of them seemed to work. Some of these drugs were very serious. I had to go to a clinic where they would pour an IV bag into me with 10 whole grams of this immune system, the 1,000 milligrams of this immune system modulating drug every week, and took 2 hours to infuse. And yeah, that stuff didn't work, nor did the other drugs before that. So for years, I had these 2 permanent open wounds held open by rubber loops, and blood and pus coming from them, and constant pain, like I had knives shoved into my ass every minute of every day for years. During this process, I despaired that I would ever recover. I wasn't sure if I would walk again, if I would ever be able to sit on a bicycle, or if I would ever not be perfusing blood from my rear end and be able to step foot in a pool ever again. That took me to a very dark place several times. I was very depressed during this illness when I didn't know what would happen to me. I didn't know if I would be able to work, return to university either. Basically, if I would ever live a normal life again. And this drove me to despair. I questioned if such an existence was worth living. And it came very close to the conclusion that the answer was no. Several times. But then, after 4 years of CT scans, MRI scans, specialist doctors, regular doctors, hospital visits, surgeries, more surgeries, surgeries after that, pain, always, blood and pus, and a sanitary towel in my pants for years to collect the blood and pus that was coming out. After years of this, I started to recover. I started taking a new drug, a different immune system modulator, and this meant that the disease I had, Crohn's disease, which was my immune system dissolving a hole in my intestine, finally stopped. The hole healed. The external wounds that were there on purpose also started to heal, and the rubber loops were removed, and they healed fully. After that, I wanted to get back to sport. In all those years, sometimes I had times of slight improvement, and I would train as much as I could. And even during all that, even with 2 rubber loops and 2 artificial holes in my ass and a sanitary towel, I managed to do a 180-kilometer bike ride. After a year of riding my bike up to 40 kilometers a day every day. So I made the whole Ironman distance in that state. I was taking painkillers while I was doing it. Was that the healthiest thing to do? No. But I felt I had to do it because there wasn't a lot of joy in my life, and that is one of the things I love. To ride my bike is one of the things I love. So I started to recover last year around this time this year. And then I thought I wanted to get back to training. So I did. I started with what I thought was easiest, which was swimming. So I started swimming again. And, I was overweight. I was 200 pounds. Was flabby, weak, could barely do it. But I kept at it. Going to the pool 3, sometimes 4 days a week in the winter. Driving my car there. And making sure not to wear a jacket because, if you wrap up in your jacket and then go to the pool, you'll be like, nope, I'm too warm. You have to kind of be uncomfortable on your way there, I find. And then you'll be willing to do it. So I started to improve. And then I thought maybe this was the time that I would be able to compete for the first time ever as a triathlete. And then I started training for real. With about 6 or 8 months to prepare, I trained for an Olympic distance triathlon. And that occurred this year on the 21st of August. I scored the outright win. My total time was 2 hours and 21 minutes. And my swim time for a 1,200 meter swim in open water, in which I got lost and had to ask for directions a few times, was 16 minutes and 47 seconds. That's a pretty good time. And now I want to continue. I want to go as far in this sport as I can. And that includes being a professional. This sport is one of the things I love most. And I want to pursue it to the absolute best of my ability. But that many years of illness, didn't leave me in a good financial place. It left me with debt and not a lot of work experience because I had to take a particular job that I could take lots of time off of and wasn't very demanding because I had to go in for surgeries or hospital visits or diagnostics on such a regular basis. And yeah, so I have some pretty cheap, worn out equipment at this point. And to train and compete at a higher level of intensity, I'm going to need some better equipment. So, if my story is at all compelling and any contributions would be greatly appreciated. They would be spent on new equipment, a new bicycle, another pair of cycling shoes. I'm still using my first ever pair that I bought almost 5 years ago. They've probably done a couple of 1,000 kilometers at this point in total. And yeah, they definitely could use replacing. I don't even have any sunglasses that are with my current prescription or unscratched. I've bought one tri-suit that I bought off Amazon, and a wetsuit I bought off Amazon, and they're not exactly the greatest quality ever. And yeah, there's also things like fees for Triathlon Manitoba, or race entry fees, or just equipment in general. A trainer, the new drive belt on that treadmill over there, heart rate monitor, supplements even. They can get expensive. And if any contributions would be greatly appreciated. And we'll offer updates on my race performances this year. Whether or not I get any financial support, I'll be doing the marathon, the Ironman 70-30, either one or two of them. I'm not sure which yet. And then also the Olympic distance again. And my goal for my final race of the year, the Olympic distance in Pinawa, will be a sub 2 hour. So, in advance, thank you for listening to my story. Thank you for any contributions. Thank you.